This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Recording has started. I love that intro music. It so makes me happy. Hello, dear listeners, and welcome once again to Super Connectivity. I'm your host, Charlie, the Professor Esser. And with me, as always, is the blue-eyed bomber of the Burger Pits.
Phil me and Perich.
Welcome, Philip. Oh, so glad you're here. So glad to talk all the things we need to talk about. And, the big talk out there in the universe we call fandom is little baby Yoda.
Oh.
And what an awful, awful person he is. But I'm not here to talk about that per se. Yes, baby Yoda, he eats things. Children eat things.
High cholesterol.
But I want to go a little bit deeper than that, because there's all sorts of things in between the episode that got us everyone angry and this episode. Although, so the people point out, hey, he actually ate 2 different eggs, and no one's crying about the other eggs he ate. So,
Well, you don't know that. We don't know. We if that spider had any kind of language, we couldn't understand it.
Well, I don't know. All I know is, and I think Rob made an interesting point when we were discussing that online, which is that, that the Buddhists believe that even plants scream as we eat them. Yeah. So, I don't know if that's true, and maybe a lot of Buddhists are really offended and saying, we don't believe that. Who the heck told you that? That is awful. That is like
Robert Southgate.
Robert Southgate, yes. So send your letters to Robert Southgate of Southgate Media Group, Master Doom. No, but the thing is, I actually have a weird left-handed theory. Hey, left-handers, you can take that as an insult or you can take it as a compliment. Left-handers, they think out of the box. They come up with new ideas. They're brilliant. They're important. So I have this theory that what if the prophecy of the one to bring balance to the Force was never actually Anakin Skywalker? What if Yiddle, the child, is actually the one meant to bring balance to the Force? Meant to exist outside of the dichotomy of the Sith and the Jedi?
I don't know why, but I always assumed that, they thought it was Anakin, but then they were wrong and it was supposed to be Luke. And maybe it wasn't even Luke, maybe it was Rey. And
you know what? Here's what I'm going to tell you. That's some human centrist thinking.
Well, I didn't know.
A little human supremacy there. Oh, well, obviously the chosen one had to be one of us humans.
Well, that was before I knew about the child.
Well, true. And for what it is, people were trying to hammer Vader and Luke into this prophecy, and then maybe it's Rey, but Rey's the Emperor, But really, if we look at the child, we have this being who is born of the Force. Now, it is said that the one who brings balance to the Force will destroy the Sith. But here's the thing. Why do we assume that destroying the Sith means killing the Sith? Again, that's that evil Jedi mindset. Because as you know, from my perspective, the Jedi are evil.
Yeah.
That's an Anakin line. Tristan likes to throw that at me all the time. But the idea is that, assuming that, like Steven Universe, assuming that I'm going to defeat you means I'm going to beat you up is a fallacy. And I get this idea in my head about Yoda and his species. And this idea that the Force, this mystical energy that flows through all living things, is a natural resource that flows through the universe unhindered. But that what the Jedi and the Sith both do is seek to control it for power. Now, maybe they say, but I will use my power for good, or I will use my power for myself because myself is the highest good. That is basic. That is basic Randian capitalism broken down for you. And that's it, because that is the dichotomy that we see all the time with the idea of power. The idea that, oh, I have power, I will use it for good. And the idea that I know what's good, whether I think I myself is the highest good or you, the populace, are the highest good, and we will make all these things the way they should be. Making yourself the central arbiter is where everything falls apart. And that arguably the true goal is to find balance, to find that place where we aren't trying to control things, but we let things exist and try not to screw things up. And I know that it's almost impossible, but
you want to hear
yeah.
You want to hear a crazy theory I was thinking about before?
Sure.
I don't know if it works, but this takes place after. I mean, Mandalorian series takes place after Return of the Jedi, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if the child is a reincarnated Yoda? What if Yoda is the child who is born to bring balance to the Force?
I mean, that's interesting. See, we don't know,
because we never see more than one of them at a time.
Well, this is true. I mean, I know, because we do see Yaddle. We do see one more of Yoda's species.
Okay.
Although it's an interesting idea. Maybe there's just two at any given time. And, interestingly enough, Amy Sedaris makes the point, if this thing ever molts or splits or what have you, suggesting that we assume tridactyls reproduce sexually. No reason to assume that. We give them genders, but that could just be random, phenotypes, They don't have to be exactly what we think they are, Just because they have hair, just because Yoda used to have red hair and eventually went bald and gray doesn't necessarily mean he's a man, even what pronouns they use. They may be using these pronouns for our sake.
Yeah.
Or, I'm sorry, for the human's sake.
Well, I was going to say they might be wrong, but I thought people called him he. So that's the answer.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. But, it's like, sure, call me he. Because apparently that means someone you'll listen to in your patriarchal white universe of humanoids. Call me a he. If that gets you to listen to me, fine. I'm Master Yoda, That's the thing. It's like, if the tridactyls don't operate on that rigid structure, which maybe they don't.
Or I mean, I'm not that familiar. I've never really watched Doctor Who, but what if they regenerate? What if that's Yoda, they regenerate, but they start off as an infant again and they gotta.
I mean, it's a possibility. The only monkey wrench in that is that I guess, have we seen Yoda's Force Ghost since Empire?
Was he in these last three?
Did Luke speak to him? Because I thought Luke.
Maybe, yeah.
Spoke to Yoda there, so that's the only problem with it. Although then again, we don't know how Force Ghosts work. They could be moving through time, and maybe there's always an elder Force Ghost Yoda, and there's always a baby Yoda. Maybe it is like the Holy Trinity: the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. All three separate entities, but all one being.
Or even if you reincarnate, you leave a piece of yourself in the Force.
Exactly. I mean, and for what it's worth, there's a lot of religions that do have that idea. I believe Shinto has the idea of that there's a part of your soul that stays and a part of your soul that ascends, and all these kinds of things. So, I mean, there's lots of possibilities, but like I said, this idea of this prophecy, which, and I was trying to get to, like, I'd like to actually read the text of the prophecy. It's like, well, it's a made-up thing, so there's not a text. This stuff isn't really canon, It's like, it's whatever, it's literally whatever Disney decides, okay, that's what's canon now. Which is why Star Trek fans get mad. But it's like, if you had a consistent canon to start with, if you had a real canonical universe to start with,
Well,
no one would be trying to do this to you.
Well, in their defense, too. I mean, a lot of prophecies are very vague sometimes, too.
Well, that is actually, that is a completely other thing that I've been kind of thinking about. Speaking, and I know this is stupid because it hinges on the prophecies of Nostradamus.
Not your Donald Trump thing again.
Well, it's the idea that, you have the Antichrist, and there are several Antichrists. And at every turn, it comes to a point where, will the world turn away from the Antichrist?
Well, I think we did the other Tuesday.
Well, exactly. That's the idea. Now, he wasn't the first, may not be the last. And that's the idea. There's not just one prophecy. This is a prophecy, and and if you think about it, so if you want to look at this as an idea, history, as they say, history never repeats, but it always rhymes. And a prophecy at its core, it has to be vague because it has to be true. But it can only be true in understanding because it is vague. Because if someone wrote the prophecy that said, tomorrow you're going to go out the street and you get hit by a truck, say, well, then I just won't cross the street. And like there's no, because fate has willed it, so you'll find yourself having to cross the street. But, free will says, well, no. I mean, even if there's a kid in the street, I'll let the kid die and I'll be fine. If that's where you're going to be, I'm just saying, it's like you can't make that statement. Or you can say, hey, I want you to go out in that street. I want you to watch the street constantly. I'm going to pay you $5. And if anyone looks like they're going to get hit by a car, you run out in the street. And no matter what happens, you're going to say in your room, you're not going to cross the street and get hit by a bus. So that makes the prophecy impossible. But if you create something that says, someone will rise and they're going to be like this kind of person, and this is what they're going to do, and that's what's going to lead to the world's downfall. And if you think about it, that's what every fiction writer who's ever written speculative fiction has done. Without the aura of prophecy, they say, when you think about it can't happen here. That great book, and I'm blanking on the author's name right now, but basically it says, when fascism comes to America, it'll be wrapped in a flag and carrying a cross. And it's like, da-da-da-da-da-da. Now, that author wasn't a prophet. He had no whispering muse from the future saying, warn them, warn them. He was just an author who looked at how history looks at how stories are told, looks at what America looks like, and then wrote a story. So in that sense, when you look at the prophecy of Bounce to the Force, you have to ask, who is interpreting this prophecy? Because again, when you look at things like the Antichrist prophecy, how there are people that, like, if you don't believe in the Antichrist prophecy and you read it and you look at Donald Trump, you go, whoa, 1 for 1, what's going on here? Why aren't you people like freaking out? But because that's not what they want to see, they don't see that. So likewise, I get the feeling that the prophecy of the one to bring balance to the Force is seen through this warlike Jedi Knight view. That's the thing. It's the Jedi Knights. They're not just like the Jedi monks. Which is, they're not the Jedi sitting in quiet contemplation, considering things. No, they're also ninja, starfighter, laser sword guys.
Oh, yeah.
But, what does it have to do with the Force? It is only in the sense that we must fight the Sith.
Well, I think
to prevent them from using the Force for evil. But then it becomes, because now you're fighting the Sith, now you hate the Sith, and you fear the Sith. And, and fear leads to anger, and anger leads to hate. And that is actually the path of the dark side. There's a reason why the Sith are pulling from the ranks of the Jedi. Because the Jedi are the one who are feeling this anger and this frustration with the limitations of the Jedi Code.
I mean, again, like you were saying, fighting the Sith might not mean, literally beating them. I think it's interpreting the prophecies, and it's like they've told literally, hey, we got to fight the Sith, and maybe it's not fighting them physically, maybe it's fighting the idea of the Sith.
Well, exactly, and that's the idea, is that you don't defeat the Sith, and likewise, you don't defeat the Antichrist by punching him in the nose. You defeat them by taking away their power. By whatever that power is. And that power can be just the way that people see the Force itself. Because so long as both the Jedi and the Sith see the Force as an energy to be controlled, they will both always be at battle.
Mm-hmm.
But once they can see the Force as a river that flows through all things, then they can be at peace with the Force. Then they can have a Force that is a force for all life in the galaxy or the universe,
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think Baby Yoda does. He is a child. But it's like, I feel the tridactyl race must be a race so attuned to the Force that they just evolved within it. So yes, they can move things, they can do things, they can lift things, but they are never utilizing that Force to control things. They are just being a being within the Force, swimming in it in the same way that a fish swims through water, a human moves through air, or a bird flies. Or a Horta moves through rock. Just to throw some Star Trek in there. Because we need something that moves through rock, or a mole digs through the earth. So that idea is, I think that the idea, that's what Yiddle could bring to the Star Wars universe. And the fact of the matter is, if Disney's like, okay, we fulfilled our contractual obligation to Lucas, we don't have to make any more of these rotten Skywalker stories anymore. Let's see what we can do with this universe. And for them to left-handedly, through the great Jean Favreau, I always give him the French pronunciation, they're going to say, actually, this is the prophecy. And that, spoilers for tonight's episode, that we're going to be meeting Ashoka next episode. Well, hopefully, or we're on the road to Ashoka. Yeah. I'm sorry, what?
Sometime this season,
yeah. Well, because at the end of this episode, they say, the other Clone Wars character says, oh, go talk to Ashoka on this place, which is like, oh, you guys have met now. It's like, yeah, we're all palsy. We're all palsy-walsies from the old days. That they're going to go towards there. Ashoka, of course, aside from being the ultimate fan favorite Jedi, or the ultimate fan favorite, not a Jedi, not a Sith, almost as if someone who is bringing balance to the Force, because they see both the lies of the Jedi and the Sith. Gee, isn't that an interesting turn of events on that whole conversation? There we go. Just kill them all. Let Rey sort them out. And arguably that is what happened when Rey is the last Skywalker, because she is I don't know if you heard what Tristan said, but Anakin killed both the Jedi and the Sith, and that basically no more of any of them. They're all gone. They're all dead. They can't hurt us anymore.
Oh, that'd be funny if all the Jedi and Sith just get killed, and the rest of the universe just like, yeah, let's just keep going about our business. Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, Rey just went and became a moisture farmer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's got a cool laser sword, but she's at the old Skywalker ranch. So she's farming some moisture. She's living a good life.
So was she staying there? Or I didn't know if she just came back to like kind of bury the lightsaber, almost like burying Luke.
No, that's where we saw her last. So in my headcanon, she never leaves.
I know.
And no, she didn't stay there. She went out to do this and rebuild that and the doodle. It's like, why? Why is she going to do that? And that's the thing, is what is the point for someone like Rey to do that?
Was she going to maybe rebuild like a better Jedi Order, maybe?
Why?
Whatever.
And what qualifies her to do that? I mean, that's the thing.
She's the only one left.
And maybe that's a good thing. As Luke says, when he burns the books, burn them. Let it go. Destroy it. This was not the way. This was not the way.
And who says that if she restarts a Jedi, they're going to be fighters? I mean, maybe it's like more like a state of mind. Maybe you try to take those youths off the bad streets of Dagobah. Yeah, and you try to and
that's fine. And this is where I think simple Rey at her moisture farm. You living that good monkly life,
or you could do it there. I mean, that could be their retreat. I mean, yeah, you try to get to the youth before they become Sith.
Well, no, but that's the idea. Well, the idea is, but they don't become Sith without the Sith. They don't become Jedi without the Jedi. That the Force flows, and people have Force sensitivity, and some people will use the Force, and some people won't. But so long as no one's trying to use the Force to dominate the galaxy. Which is what the Jedi did. They used the Force to dominate the galaxy. No wonder the Sith bridled under their rule.
Yeah, I mean, they did seem pretty aggressive in those prequels.
Exactly. This is the thing, and they're going to do the Dawn of the Republic, and where we see the original corruption of whatever the pure Jedi Order once was. Because it is going to be of, kings wanting a court sorcerer. And it's like, well, you're the sorcerer. You're Merlin. You're so important. So important, Master Jedi. It's like, well, I'm so important today. Goodness. Someone get me some blue milk.
I'm surprised you led with this story. I thought you were going to lead with the other story.
Which story was the other story?
We got a date for WandaVision.
Oh, gosh, WandaVision. Well, WandaVision. Oh, WandaVision. They said later this year.
Again,
they
COVID.
said this year. I know it's pre-COVID, but we held on to it for so long. And
was it this week? I think it was either last week or this week. They were like, "Oh yeah, we're done filming." It's like, wait, I thought you were done already.
Oh yeah, well, and maybe they did have some last-minute things to do. And you know what? I think part of it is that they're like, okay, we've got to like reshoot this and redo this because of changes that have happened in the world, and maybe changes that have happened to the plan.
Because Black Widow's delayed, and
Black Widow's delayed, and so they have to say, okay, we can't reference that, and it's one of these weird things where it's like, they're kind of in this limbo on it because, I mean, were they actually done with Widow? Is Widow in the can? Do we know if Widow was even in the can?
I thought so. I mean, they were planning to release it in May.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like that was right when.
You know what? And then they were planning on releasing it this month. So I mean, maybe. I mean, if they were planning the release of this month, you would think.
Yeah, but I guess part of me wonders if there's qualities of Winter Soldier, of WandaVision, because let's not forget we're also getting Monica Rambeau in WandaVision.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a really strong possibility that. There's, I guess here's the thing I think about. When I think about the current Marvel Cinematic Universe, I do think of it as something of a machine. And here's the thing I'm going to tell you. It always was. It always was going to be a machine. At no time from Iron Man 1 to and really I think even going back to Ang Lee's Incredible Hulk, I think they were really sketchy about walking away from Ang Lee's Incredible Hulk when they did Incredible Hulk, or Ang Lee's Hulk when they did Incredible Hulk. I think they said, we're just not going to talk about his origin because there was an origin recently given. We're not going to retell that origin because honestly Hulk's origin is complicated to start with, especially when you consider that 90% of people don't even are thinking about the Bruce Banner origin anyway. So
The David Banner.
yeah, the David Banner.
Yeah.
Sorry, the David Banner origin anyway. So it's like, it's best to just leave that vague. But every so often we may make a reference to it, or something along those lines, and but again, when they made Incredible Hulk, it was very much from the second they did that, always meant to integrate Stark.
Mm-hmm.
And you almost immediately start to see things in the Incredible Hulk where, yeah, they were intending to have other people in there. They have S.H.I.E.L.D. in it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, they don't have S.H.I.E.L.D. They had S.H.I.E.L.D. in the comics, but I even think Black Widow shows up in the comic book version of the story because she captures Stearns at the end before we even get to Iron Man 2. So, yeah. So, but WandaVision, I mean, we've got a release date. It's 5 days before my birthday, so happy birthday to me.
Yeah.
I can watch the whole thing probably by my birthday. That'll be great, except it's probably going to be once a week. So,
oh yeah, especially these days. Yeah.
But anyway, that's cool. I'm good with that. Tristan, meanwhile, is still asking me, when are we getting Zombie Captain America? He's been wanting What If Zombie Captain America. The first thing they showed us. And he's like, why aren't they giving this to us? Which makes you think there's got to be something going on in the What If universe that needs everybody else. Like, there's got to be maybe something in WandaVision.
Yeah, because I swear, maybe WandaVision really opens up the multiverse. Because I swear they said, they were able to work on What If from home because of the animation. Yeah.
Which makes me wonder if that's the thing. I think we're going to start to get a series of drops. Like, oh, hey, here's WandaVision. Oh, and guess what? What If is coming out on January 20th. And, Falcon Winter Soldier, February 1st,
Mm-hmm.
I will be shocked if that's not what starts to happen. That they're just going to start dropping these things. I mean, not for nothing, for what it's worth, there's a possible vaccine on the way. People are going to be starting to move forward with these things. And if nothing else, if Black Widow is so central to it, make it pay-per-view. Just make it pay-per-view.
Well, that's what
$60 a shot. Pay-per-view. You're going to make your money back. You're going to make your money back.
Because we'll have to see. Because I think we're going to talk about it on Capes and Lunatics. I guess there's a thing now. I guess they're saying Warner's is mulling over. Do they release Wonder Woman in January or February on HBO Max, or do they wait to the summer?
Yeah, well, but that's the thing, and of course, I mean, for DC, there's no loss in that moving forward because it's not like they know where they're going to go after it. It's like, yay, we had Wonder Woman.
Now what?
Now what? Yeah, it's like they don't know. And honestly, from their perspective, it's like they're actually in a better position in that sense because they can say, let's see if this Snyder stuff does anything. Look, they got because did you see, Phil? They get that Zack Snyder himself showed us on his phone the image of Martian Manhunter. Because Phil, the one thing I said when I watched Justice League was, what this film needs? More characters. I need more characters in this. I just need. I need my lantern. I just need people that are just there for fan service. They're not actually going to do anything. They're not going. It's just like Cyborg. They don't have to have a story. I just need them to be there, to be a physical body for my nerdery.
Forget a serviceable villain. Give us more heroes.
Well, or just more of it. Just more and more and more. Just more glitz and glamour and
more
sparkles.
More time. More booth.
They need a They need a Rip Taylor. That's what they need. They just need the confetti. And as you can see, I'm a big fan of Rip Taylor. Yeah. Goodness me. Yeah, but that is DC's situation and Marvel's situation too. Well, Warner Brothers and AT&T, Warner Brothers and Disney situation. They have a product that they want to move forward with. The big difference, however, is that Marvel's product is in the can, and they've got like a whole strategy and a plan to move forward from it. And unfortunately, DC doesn't. But nothing at DC has a plan right now. And we'll probably save some of this for Capes and Lunatics, because that is we talk about DC stuff. Because really, I'm not a DC expert. I'm not a DC fan. But yeah, I understand Disney's problem with Black Widow. They want to get the story out there. They want to move forward. But there is this quality of leaving money on the table, and the reality that, for what it's worth, they can release stuff in China without too much trouble.
Mm-hmm.
There are parts of Europe they can release it in.
Australia's good. Canada is pretty decent.
It's really kind of the UK and America. It's the English-speaking countries. English, not a good language if you want to avoid diseases, apparently. That are really having the biggest problems. Although Italy's having resurgences, Spain is having resurgences. So I don't want to downplay the fact that a lot of European places are having these problems too. Actually, I don't think China or Japan have really started having resurgences. We'd know in Japan, we wouldn't know in China. But it's just this reality that it's a thing that is causing a lot of problems throughout the free world, and you could release it and make money in some theaters, and it's not like theaters are closed. There are some places where theaters are open with proper social distancing and things like that. But the fact of the matter is people don't really want to go to the movies right now. That's the big. It's not even really the virus. It's that no one wants to risk the virus to go see a movie. And they could say people will risk the virus to go see Black Widow. And honestly, I think they would.
Yeah, a lot of people would. But again, like I've said before, I don't think Disney wants that bad publicity. If you get huge COVID spikes in,
centered around Black Widow. It's a Black Widow really is a Black Widow. No one wants that headline. No, it's not a good one. So they've got to be careful with that. But but at a certain point, it's money on the table.
Oh yeah, I mean they could easily go to Disney Plus, but again, it's like you cut out the theater, but then you don't want the bad publicity.
Yeah. And I'll even go you one better. It's a whole complex thing about who gets paid what, because so Scarlett Johansson got paid up front, of course. She probably got paid nice, but she got certain back ends. And the fact of the matter is, it's like, I got cheated on my back end because this was supposed to be a theatrical release and it wasn't. And because of that, now I need to demand something else. And it creates a whole different dynamic of uncertainty for a company like Disney.
Or could they rework the deal where they she gets a portion of whatever they would make off of if they do the whole Disney Plus thing where they're like, okay, if you have Disney Plus, you got to pay $30 extra to, get the movie
to pay Scarlett Johansson, yeah. Well, that's what I said. Charge $60 for it at this point. It's like, I mean, that's the thing. It's like there's a lot of legal issues involved too. So it's like we all think it's like, they don't want to release it into theaters, but actually it's that there are probably a lot of very complex contracts that are already in place that people are having trouble negotiating and working through. And so, that's what they're trying to figure out. What are we going to do with those things? And do they do it? Do they not? I don't know. One thing we do know is that streaming services and television are doing well.
Oh yeah. Again, there was some article they said comic book sales were actually up this year over this time last year. Now that's what I said. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure anything that you can do at home is probably the sales of anything you can do at home are up.
Well, exactly. Which is why Disney made the decision, or sorry, DC made the decisions they did this week, which we'll talk about over on Capes and Lunatics this week.
Right.
Or at least, sorry, that's the rumor. That's a rumor that's been going around for a while, but we won't get to that right now. But I'd like to tease the next episode for people, or the next show for people. But here's the thing, and there is this competition between Disney and Warner's for numerous reasons, and another blow has been struck in it with the announcement that Freakazoid will be coming to Teen Titans Go.
Guest star, yeah.
A guest starring by Paul Rugg, who I believe, or Paul Rugg, I can't remember if it's Rugga or Rugg, who I believe was one of the producers on Animaniacs, who isn't involved in the new Animaniacs.
Okay.
And although I'm reading stuff that says it was a positive thing, there's of course, always nerds on the internet who says, no, it wasn't positive. He was cut out and he's mad. But I do feel that there's thing that when Hulu got the Animaniacs, Warner's kind of realized, oh, we were kind of sleeping on that, weren't we? And that there is this entire sort of, as I've often talked about Disney building the Disney Afternooniverse over through DuckTales, there is another Afternooniverse, which is the Spielberg Afternooniverse, which was a very expansive universe that was created in the 90s that was really great, high-quality shows, things like the Tiny Toons, things like Animaniacs, things like Hysteria. Oh my gosh, that was such a good show. It didn't last very long, but every nerd kid loved Hysteria. Maybe not Phil, but
I don't think I've heard of it.
Oh, it was, it lasted a very short time. Basically, educational television? Or let me put it this way, YouTube videos about history where they have a lot of screaming and silliness, but they're actually trying to explain to you a very complex idea from history or science or literature?
Okay.
That was Hysteria. That was the first... arguably the first drunk. Well, I really want to go back. I guess you could say Schoolhouse Rock was the first drunk history, but it was this idea of telling historical ideas in this cartoon format, utilizing kind of a lot of silliness that may feed into it. But this was another Steven Spielberg project. He wanted something that was a little more educational, I guess. But as we talked about, when Hulu announced the Animaniacs were coming back, they brought in that suddenly Warner says, oh, we're developing Tiny Toons, which was actually the first part of the Steven Spielberg-verse. Which is, and it's a great show. I liked it. That's, that they introduced the world to They Might Be Giants, which is a great thing, which of course was on Warner Reprise Records, which it all kind of comes full circle for synergy there, I guess. It's like, it was funny because like when they did their music videos show and Warner's, it's like, well, who's a new artist we can use? I don't know, use They Might Be Giants. But they used Istanbul, Not Constantinople, which suddenly became the earworm for a lot of kids of that age. History. Anyway, but the reintroduction of Tiny Toons, I'm excited about it because I actually liked the Looney Tunes on HBO Max. I think that their cartoons, like I said, speaking of HBO Max, there was something of news in it, which is that Roku has said, oh, there is a workaround. that Roku is saying, oh, here's how you get around it. You have to download this Apple product, and then you can get HBO Max on some of our devices, which is, it's weird. First off, that it's coming from Roku itself. Is that like, yeah, man, I figured out how to do it. It's like Roku's like, oh yeah, we figured out how to do this, which actually tells me, because in the same article I read that in, one is saying we're going to sort this out probably by January. Which makes me wonder, am I going to bother to go figure out how Roku's telling me to do this, or am I just going to wait for it to figure it out by January?
Yeah. I forget when I had to do the workaround for our Fire Cube. It was something like, I don't know if like the app is like somebody's proprietary thing, and so they didn't want you to use the I don't know who owned certain devices, and somebody else owned the app, so you had to do a workaround so you could like download like the Android app or something. Weird.
Well, the one that you showed me was, you go through the Google Play Store, but of course because I have a Fire Stick, not a Fire Cube, which I think has more limited internet capabilities, and that's what the circular logic of that is. So, if I had more internet capabilities, I probably could do that, but I have limited internet capabilities on my TV because it's a Fire Stick, not a Fire Cube. It's not meant for the internet. It's meant for watching the videos. That's why I can't really comment on YouTube videos, even though I watch a lot of them on my big screen TV, because it's easier. Pistachio muffins. I'll see if they have pistachio muffins the next time I'm at the store. They just said green food coloring to pistachios. That is correct. But they said red food coloring to pistachios, so, that's that. They used to. They don't do that anymore. But that was a weird thing they did probably in the 70s and 80s. Probably Phil doesn't even remember that. Red pistachios.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that was a thing. When you'd buy them in the shell, they'd be painted red.
Ew.
You imagine, but it was the 70s, so who knows? Anyways, hey, you want to talk a couple of comics?
Yeah, I was going to say, I was thinking of there's probably at least two Marvels Lilith probably didn't read, because she's awake, she's ready to go. So.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, okay, yeah. I've been waiting for her to buzz in and say, "Hey guys, start without me."
Well, I told her. I said, "Hey, we started with Super. Can we do capes after?" She's like, "Yeah, sure."
Okay, so you want to start with Iron Man?
Sure. Iron Man number 3.
I saw you holding it up.
Oh, I had that and Savage Avengers in my hand. So.
Oh yeah. Well, I got that one too. I got them all. Savage Avengers. Let's start with Iron Man because I do enjoy Iron Man. I do enjoy this run. I really need to get it on the pull. I just buy it instead.
Yeah.
We finally got like, okay, it's so spoilers. It's Korvac, which is an not to spoil things, but I can see where they're going with this. Because Tony's going old school, doesn't want to be in that tech place. And now he's got to go up against Korvac, the ultimate computer man. So obviously this is how he's going to have to integrate himself. But man, I love Patsy Walker. This book should be called Patsy Walker featuring Iron Man. I'm sorry, she is the best thing in this book. Just her constant tearing him down, and everything that he wants to basically say, oh, why doesn't anyone love me? In fact, you actually even get at the start of this why don't you love me, David Duchovny kind of moment with him. It's like, do you realize that I don't have to do any of this? Honestly, you know what that sounds like when he's doing that whole mental thing?
What?
The Superior Iron Man.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that plot line that never got resolved, which I've pointed out several times?
Well, they kind of they ran it into Secret Wars, and then it was just like, Secret Wars will No,
they literally ran it into Secret Wars, as in Captain America and Iron Man died horribly.
Well, 1, 2, I guess they're like, reality's getting rebooted. That'll fix it. Plus, You know who took over after Secret Wars for Iron Man, right? Bendis.
Bendis, yeah, but exactly, and of course, no mention.
Bendis ain't gonna pick up nobody else's plots. Come on.
Yeah, but the idea, but like I said, but it was an interesting aspect of it, expressly because you had two characters who had been changed beyond real recognition.
Oh yeah,
and they're both going to die, and they were the two characters who were very iconic to the Marvel Universe, who are going to be the last ones who die in the Marvel Universe. And that's the idea. And the idea that Captain America is going to straight up kill Iron Man because he says, you know what, to heck with it. I don't know what's going to happen, but you're not going to the future. Whatever else happens, you're staying here. Because I don't have to, I think it says, I don't have to beat you. I just have to keep you here long enough. And that's what he did. And they both got obliterated. But now maybe these are the hints of that superior Iron Man coming back. That maybe there is this quality of Tony that is, I can do whatever I want, to quote the great Homelander.
Maybe Superior Iron Man didn't disappear. Maybe he was just buried for a while.
Yeah, maybe. So I like this. I like this whole harnessing lightning thing, and the fact they built like a bunch of these lightning towers throughout the world, which makes me wonder what's the end game of that. Is that going to be like a thing?
I don't know.
Well, I guess it's like the idea of harnessing the electromagnetic force of
or is Korvac going to try to harness something else from space, and he just told Tony it was lightning.
Actually,
here, but yeah.
Oh no! I see what he's doing. He's gonna, how Korvac doesn't have legs. He's gonna basically become Korvac, the living planet.
Oh no!
He's gonna use the electromagnetic nature of the Earth to basically build this circuitry system throughout the Earth, in which case these little iron rods start to look a lot like transistors and a motherboard, and he's going to try and take over the Earth literally. And then he's going to take the Earth to destroy everyone else and control everything. Which is, again, one of these things we saw, I think, was it this issue or last issue, where we see him in the Hive and saying, oh yeah, you want to make the world better for humanity? It's like, boy, that is so short-sighted. Why do you want to just make the world better for humanity?
Yeah, I think it was last time, yeah.
Yeah, and it is, by the way, I have to say, everyone loves Alex Ross covers, so.
Oh, yeah.
I am surprised. They were like doing, Alex Ross must be doing a lot of work. Because they constantly, and he seems to be like the designated cover artist for Iron Man right now. Which is pretty impressive for the amount of detail that man puts in his work. It's, and you know what? For what it's worth, you look at the cover and what I just said, and the idea of Korvac, the living planet. What does it look like we're looking at there?
Oh yeah, I mean, look at the whole, almost the whole, like half the city under Iron Man is, it looks like giant flaming Korvac.
Yeah, I think they gave him some notes, and he said, "Okay, well, I'll paint this, paint that." And no one really noticed. So
you're not supposed to use that cover yet.
So, I just painted it, man. You're the guys who put it there. I don't know. That's. You want to talk Savage Avengers too, or do you have something to say about Iron Man?
No, that's fine.
I know Lil is waiting. I don't want to keep her. She's an angry drunk, so you don't want to keep her waiting. I'm a jovial drunk. I can see.
She knows you're an artiste.
Artiste. Yeah. So we're gonna fight a dragon.
Yeah, they kind of put recruiting more people for the team.
Yeah, and again, I love the idea that the dragon. And first, I don't even remember magic being a part of this. We get this nice little thing about. And first off, so there's a city, Burgess, with a dragon, and this isn't news to anyone. No one is like, although it is like, just let the dragon sleep, we'll all be okay. And everyone's just like, then the drunk drops his beer bottle and he gets.
Yeah, well, I mean, the first thing it says is like 2020 has been a difficult year, especially here. Well, I don't know if it's just like, oh yeah, this dragon just showed up not too long ago, and it's like there's so much crap going on in the world, it's
No one cares. And we go to the bar with no name, the supervillain hangout, and we got some. And is that Deadly Nightshade? Are we getting a little Deadly Nightshade shout out here?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, or someone just doing the Deadly Nightshade hair, She's not wearing a leather bikini, so,
But she's rocking like that 70s headband though, so I don't know.
Yeah, so that's interesting. And interesting that Juggernaut, even though ostensibly he's a superhero now again, he still goes to the bar with no name, because who's going to stop him?
He's going to tell him no.
And of course, we get the gag where Magic wants. What is the password? I just want to come back here and not have to rough people up. And it's the Simpsons reference to alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems. And hey, I'm getting my wish. They put Conan in modern clothing. He's wearing a jacket.
Exactly.
Yes, I will wear coats. But that's my thing with Conan. It's not like he's impractical. If you gave him clothing to wear, he probably would put it on. If it's cold out, it's like a coat. It's cold out,
Exactly.
I'm not wearing this because, this is the loincloth of my ancestors. It's like, no, this is some leather loincloth I put on. You have good leather pants, I'll put them on. That's fine. They give Juggernaut jewels because, negotiable gemstones. That's currency. And then we see that the Black Knight is messing up clan rallies. He is being real nice to these clansmen because he's like, okay, you guys show up once, you get beat up. You show up twice, you're gonna come to that. Yeah, you're gonna have to go to the hospital. Do this 3 times. It's not gonna end well for you. Was Magic in the last issue, or is they just recently introducing her?
I mean, I know she popped up when everyone came back together. Yeah, I don't think she was in that original arc, but yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if they're just like brought in more Magic users now that they know it's Cool Garth or whatever.
Yeah, but they got Juggernaut, and because they have to fight a dragon, and when they always say about this issue went so freaking fast.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it, and it's just so action packed. But yeah, they dropped the Juggernaut, so he's using his Juggernautery plus gravity to punch a dragon in the head.
Oh yeah, because Magic uses her portals. He runs through, and it just puts him up. He just.
Yes, but then we see that converts him to his normal Norse god form, which will no doubt be super easy to defeat. Barely an inconvenience. And we'll see that next episode. So that was fun and that was fast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, Philip. You hear me okay, Philip?
Kinda.
Philip, I have to say this. One of the most important things about podcasting is actually being able to hear what people are podcasting about. Right. And that's why I say don't get those cheap dollar store headphones like I often buy. Go out to tweakedaudio.com, use the coupon code Southgate so you get a discount on the dang things, and get yourself some decent headphones. Right. And here's the best part. That coupon? How you use a coupon and it's like, oh, this coupon isn't good at this store. This coupon isn't good here. This coupon doesn't do this. The coupon code Southgate, that's good a lot of places. Go to hunterkiller.com. Help Michelle Gray solve a cold case. Do all that stuff. Use that same coupon code you just used to get your Tweets Audio headsets. Now you've got another discount. And, I understand someone says, I don't want to do coupons. I don't even clip coupons for soap. And I go buy soap all the time. I don't want to use a coupon. Well, that's fine. You can still help out the Southgate group by going down to the show notes, clicking on the link to Amazon, going to Amazon and buying whatever the heck you want. Costs you nothing, helps out the show. It's a great way to do it. And while you're there, you can check out Pod Life, the book written by the Southgate Media Group community and going to you. And it tells you about podcasting. Why people do it, how they do it, what inspires them to do it. And it can be a pretty fun book to read. And once you've done that, once you've read Pod Life the book, which is available in digital, paperback, and coming soon, so Rob Southgate says, audio form, I want you to call us at 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And tell us your own feelings on Pod Life the book, or anything else you want to talk to us about. And after they do that, if you want to write to us in some way, Phil, how can they write to you?
The easiest way is to get a hold of me and everyone else is to write us at capesandlunatics@gmail.com.
And of course, you can always write to me in the old-fashioned email way, the way our Maz and Paz once did, at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. Of course, follow me on Twitter as I live tweet DuckTales, a woohoo, Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, as I live tweet the... It's okay, Tristan. Resurgence of the Disney Afternoon Universe at Charlie Esser. That's CHARLIE ESSCR.
The quality. Bing.
Thank you, Maz, and thank you, Tristan.
Oh,
All right. That has been another episode of Super Connectivity. Please come on back and Super Connect with us again. Thank you and good night.
Thank you. Good night. Wow, what will help by?
What, you mad at me for something?
Wow. Maybe she's impressed by your greatness.
I do my best. I do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to help other people at all times, and to obey the law of the pack. That's the Cub Scout oath.
Yeah.
I don't remember the Boy Scout oath because it was much longer.